Imagine living in a school and not being able to sleep at night, not because of ghosts, but because of your own school principal. The person who should take care of the children was the one who sexually molested them. This was the life of children in Inhwa School of South Korea. Inhwa School, it was a school for deaf and mute people and also for the disabled students. The student came from poor family background, and most of them were orphaned and used to live in the school dormitory. The school used to get a lot of donation from the people and help from the government, as it was the charity work to help these kids. To the outside world, it looked like this school was a blessing for the unfortunate students. But the reality was completely different. The money which they got from people they used to keep it to themselves. And most of teachers teaching here didn't even know proper sign language. Can you imagine a teacher not even knowing how to communicate with them? And the most horrifying part is that school teachers and principal used to sexually harass the children. The head administrator was the worst among these people. He used to take the students to his office and rape them. Student even said that there was one teacher who used to play any educational video on the screen, turning off the light and take any student to the corner of the room and do sexual activity with them. When any student showed resistance to it, he would threaten them by saying he would kill them. This was in the daytime, but in the night things would even got horrifying. The teachers would take turn for living at dormitory and used to get into the room of the students forcefully and sexually harass them. Every student was scared for their life. The fear was so much among the children they could not even sleep. They always lived in the fear that they could be their next target. So because of this, no one dared to help the children who was suffering. All they could do was to keep quiet and listen to the helpless cry of the children suffering. The torture was not only limited to the school. There was a teacher who would take the student to his home and let her have dinner with his family, telling everyone how good of student she is. And as soon as his family would leave the house, he would rape the child in his own house. The student were not only sexually abused, they were also been beaten badly by the teachers for telling about the torture they faced to other teachers. And the other teacher, when tried to talk about this, were either given money to keep their mouth shut, or they would threaten them by saying that they would get fired from the job. For these reasons, no one stood up for the students and helped them. While this was going on, the bus driver of the school noticed some bruises on the children's body, but he thought maybe they may have got this while playing around. But he slowly started to notice the bruises on many children, and the children always used to get new scars every now and then. And one day a student told him about the torture they were facing. The driver thought the other teacher may not know about this. He went to the office and told about this. But the staff didn't even respond properly, just said, "Okay, we will look into this." The driver again went to the office. But the driver was beaten and was told to keep quiet about this, or else he would lose his job. The person was the only earning source for his family, so he had no other option. But still, he didn't lose hope. He wrote every torture the children faced and kept a record of it, in a hope that someday this will be useful in giving justice to the children. And soon after some time, a new teacher joined the school, who is also shown as the main character in the movie. His real name was Jong-Young-Sup. At first, he didn't find anything odd going on in the school, but he noticed that students were afraid of him. He thought maybe because they were not familiar with him. But same as the bus driver, he also saw the scars on children. The teacher knew sign language, so he tried to talk to the children. At first, the children didn't say anything, but after gaining their trust, the children started to tell about the torture they faced at school. The furious teacher went to the staff room to complain, only to get ignored by them. He soon found out that many other teachers were involved in this, and which were not involved in the crime kept quiet because they didn't want to lose their job. In South Korea, teaching is considered as an honored job, and it also a high salary job. To get this job sometime, you have to donation to get the position. Even the teacher had got the job here by donation. Despite all this, he was determined to expose the crime happening here, even at cost of his job. He took the help of media. Not all students, but some came forward and told what happened with them in the school. They made a documentary about this, and it was made public. It quickly grabbed the attention of the people, and case was filed against the suspects and they were arrested. After this, the case was taken to the court. Now, you may have a question. How were they able to do this horrifying crime with the children and no one ever complained about them or ever stopped them? It was because all these people were part of one single family. The principal, head administrator, teacher, everyone. Can you imagine how much disgusting this thing is? But now the students got a little hope because at least this case was taken to the court. But wait, I don't want you to keep high expectations from the court hearing as you may get disappointed.
피고인 박보현, 징역 8개월에 집행유예 2년. 피고인 이강복, 징역 6개월에 집행유예 1년. 피고인 이강석, 징역 6개월에 집행유예 1년. 검찰 측은 재판이 끝나는 즉시.
Yes, this was the punishment for them, and the other involved didn't even get any punishment. The nurse of the school even changed the medical report to show that the victims were not sexually abused. The sentence was so small because back in South Korea, sexual assault was said to be an independent accusation instead of a federal crime. So one had to personally sue in order for any investigation or outcome to occur. And mediation was also in for these cases. If mediation was to be finalized, no criminal charges were made. Sexual assault also used to have a statute of limitations for minors over 13 years of age. The time frame was only a year from the first contact with the suspect. Many victims' family accepted the money and settled the case. This was also one of the reasons why they got so less punishment. Proper justice was not served to the children, and the suspects were roaming freely. But things changed in 2011. When the movie Silenced was released, the director of the movie is the same person who directed the series Squid Game, but very few people know about this. This movie showed what had really happened in the Inhwa school and how the students didn't get any justice. This movie touched people's heart and people showed outrage. Everyone demanded justice for the students. Because of this, the case was reopened, and the head administrator now was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Because of this, the South Korea government changed the law. Now, sexual assault was a federal crime instead of self-accusations, and the statute of limitations was also removed for minors below the age of 13. And they even named the new law as Togani Law, which was the Korean name for the movie Silenced. After this, school was also shut down, and finally some justice served to the students, and now no more students would suffer. But the victims, which are grown adults now, but still they have the trauma from the school, they never completely recovered from it. A victim said that she would never have any male companion, and she has no interest in male celebrities, and she even said she would not date anyone because of the trauma she have.
Before you leave the video, I wanted to make a small request. Please watch the movie if you are 18 plus. It's streaming on Netflix. It is important to watch this movie because you will understand the horrifying crime that happened with the student. I may have not been able to express or deliver the emotion that the children have faced. It's a completely different experience when you watch it instead of hearing or reading any article. So I highly request to watch the movie. That's why I came forward to talk about this movie instead of using my AI voice. Till then, you can watch my other video, which is based on the real life Squid Game. It is also another horrifying case from South Korea, which may have inspired Squid Game series. See you in the next video. Bye.